This small, some might even say innocent looking vehicle has to be one of the most important performance cars ever built. Before the Golf GTI, there were small, sporty cars, but the concept of a hatchback, front-wheel drive with a more powerful engine, well, it all began here. The GTI has been attributed to a small band of engineers that were working on the original Golf project back in the early 1970s. It was an out-of-hours kind of project that gained momentum, and the first GTI was seen at the 1975 Frankfurt Motor Show. It went on sale in Germany a year later, with demand far outstripping supply. The crisp, stylish lines of the Giugiaro-designed Mark I Golf were given a more sporty edge by Volkswagen design, and in the process they really kind of created a template for this kind of car ever since. The sort of things we're talking about are these wider alloy wheels, these classic wheel arch extensions, and at the front here this lower spoiler, and of course the iconic grille with extra lamps and this red pinstriping. They're all details that have formed the basis of hot hatches ever since, both Volkswagen's and its competitors. The engine was a 1.6 litre fuel-injected lump originally from Audi, developed around 108 brake horsepower and gave a 0 to 60 time of about 9 seconds with a top speed of 113 miles an hour. Now at the time, that was pretty impressive stuff. In '82, it moved to a 1.8 litre engine, which is what this car has. That was good for about 110 brake horsepower, but it cut the 0 to 60 time to just 8.2 seconds. So here we are then, we're in the legend, we're in the original hot hatch, the Mark I Golf GTI. It's a small, cosy environment. You can easily reach across and touch the other side of the car. These A-pillars are so slim, but they give amazing visibility. The car is so immediate, it's just something that you feel part of. With 110 brake horsepower, the Mark I GTI doesn't sound as though it's that powerful, certainly compared with modern power levels. But if you factor that in with the curb weight and also the immediacy of the response that this engine has, it actually feels really quick. It makes a lovely guttural noise and it just eggs you on to drive it. And I guess that's what must have really resonated with people at the time when it first came out. It feels so keen. Remember, this car does 0 to 60 in just over 8 seconds. Well, for a warm hatch, that's a pretty good figure even today. Back then, that was really amazing. One of the areas I think where the GTI does show its age a little bit is with the initial response of the steering. If you were to compare it with a 205 GTI or something similar, you'd find with this car there's just that almost vagueness before you get into a corner. It just makes the car not feel quite as nimble as some of those hot hatches that came afterwards. However, good things are, well, this 8-valve engine just delivers its power immediately. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for it to come on cam, even from about 2000 RPM. Seeing as the oldest Mark I GTI is now around 35 years old, clearly it's not necessarily going to be a straightforward purchase. Your big worry is corrosion. These cars do rust, and unless it's been in a museum or in a dehumidified storage, you've got to expect rust and expect to have to deal with it. The main areas of concern are on the sills here. The tailgates can go, this panel here underneath where the spare wheel is, the fuel filler neck, where the clutch cable comes in, that's another area of concern. Basically anywhere seals around here can go, water gets in. But other than that, it's pretty good news really. The engines are generally regarded as bomb-proof. They can get a bit tappety, so listen out for that. Otherwise, it's things like the trim. This car is off a heritage fleet. It's just about perfect, but there's very, very few in this sort of condition. Most will have worn seat bolsters. And bear in mind that there's going to be items that maybe are becoming quite difficult to find these days. But the best bit about the Mark I GTI, well, it's the overall way it drives. It has to be. That's what's so special about it. It's the way all the different parts come together. The engine, the gearbox, and most of all, I think, the chassis. You've only got relatively small, plump, high-profile tyres on this car, but somehow it just seems to generate loads of grip, and it does it in a really nice, neutral way. So that's the original Golf GTI. Small, lean, still quick, and most of all, still tremendous fun to drive. It kick-started a whole new genre, and it really does deserve to be called a classic performance car.